We got the Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly contract signing. We got the Cruiserweight titles being unified, and we got the Stipulation added to that match. Plus, we have Dakota, and Raquel Gonzalez picking up the victory over Io Shirai and Zoey Stark. Speaking of Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship is still confirmed for NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Plus, Karrion Kross will be going against Finn Balor for the NXT Championship at NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. And the tag titles will be on the line as MSK, Grizzled Young Veterans, and Legado del Fantasma will be in the triple threat match to determine who will be the vacant NXT tag team champions. We're going to go over it all. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. You know how I break it down. So, we're going to go over everything that went down on last night's NXT right here on my Ingram Wrestling News YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my IWN Wrestling News and Gaming YouTube channel. I'm IWN's very own Brendan. I'm your host here live with your March the 24th, 2021 NXT review. Now, before we get started, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button, turn on bell notifications. I am on my way to 300 subscribers. I am defiantly on the road to 1,000 subscribers, no doubt about that. But I still have a long way to go to get there. You can invite your friends to subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. That would be much appreciated. Thank you to those of you that are subscribed to my channel who has supported me. Thank you to all my Twitter followers that supported me in my channel. Please keep on doing so, man. My channel has improved. Please continue to support me and my channel as my channel improves and gets even better each and every week, each week and each day as each week goes by. And show me some love, man. Give your love and support. Show your love and support for me and my channel to those of you in the IWC community that are new. So, also, follow me on Twitter, Ingram Wrestling. Follow me on Twitch, of course, at Ingram Wrestling News. That's where I stream Dragon Ball Z Verse 2. My Dragon Ball Z Verse 2 content is over there on that channel. So, if you want to see more of that, man, let me know. I don't have a problem streaming Dragon Ball Z Verse 2 on Twitch. I could pick a day in my schedule to, to stream it. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you want to see more live streams on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, let me know as well. Also, let me know if you want to see more Ingham Wrestling news videos as well, because I haven't been doing any of them yet. I haven't came up with a new one yet, so I probably will next week. I'm not sure. It depends. But anyways, I do have your news on the viewership for NXT and AEW, I believe. So we're going to go over that at the end of the review. I'm actually going to give that information out to you all, that news. So, does anybody have any questions before we start? Anybody have any questions, any thoughts on last night's episode of NXT that you want to talk about? Specifically anything? Anybody have any questions before I get started with this review here? Yes, no, maybe so? We're going to go ahead and get started here, folks. So, the first match of NXT, we got Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai and Zoey Starks. Now, obviously, before that match even started, this week's NXT opened up with a look back at last week where Karrion Kross attacked Finn Balor. We see a video of Adam Cole arriving at the PWC earlier today. In case you are wondering what PWC stands for, it stands for the Performance Wrestling Center. Or it might stand for the Performance Wrestling Capital, I don't know. Here, the Performance Center, that's what I call it. I don't call it the PWC, I call it the Performance Center. But I'm thinking PWC stands for the Performance Wrestling Capital, or Performance Center. But anyways, we got Dakota Kai, Gonzalez versus Zoey Stark and Io Shirai. That match was the first one. That match was the first match of last night's NXT. So anyways, basically the match begins with Stark and Gonzalez, and they lock up. Gonzalez uses her strength to force Stark back to the corner and talks some trash before letting go. Now, obviously, Raquel grabs a wrist. She grabs a wrist, then holds Starks down by the arm. Stark flips through and takes the wrist for herself. So then, she hits a Hurricane Rana. Stark backs Raquel into the corner and hits a leaping knee. Then runs into the ropes. But Gonzalez clocks her with a clothesline and tags Kai. So, Kai tries to pick the pieces, but Stark turns the tables and beats her down. Stark drags Kai to the corner and tags the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. Io Shirai and Dakota Kai go back and forth with fast reversals until Shirai clocks her with a basement dropkick. Man, imagine what a basement dropkick sounds, folks. Imagine hearing that from the fucking arena where you're sitting at. Imagine hearing that from ringside to the ring, to the actual ring. Imagine hearing that sound. When a wrestler's hitting a basement dropkick on somebody's jaw or hitting it on somebody's face, imagine what that sounds like, man. Oh my god. It's almost like a woman's brawl done fell off. That's how fucking That's how fucking loud that would sound. Io puts Kai in the corner and drops her, but spends too much time talking trash. So Gonzalez and, she was spending too much time talking trash to Gonzalez and gets rolled up for a 2. Kai gets beaten into the corner and Stark gets tagged. Gonzalez comes in and tags, or takes control of the match again, and tags in Kai for a double team toss and kicks to the head for a 2 count. So, back from commercial break, back live, Starks drops Gonzalez with an enziguri, and we get tags to both corners. Shirai comes in hot against Kai and hits her with a flapjack. Raquel rushes in and grabs Io, but gets rolled up and dropkick. Io gets both Kai and Gonzalez in both corners and hits running knees to both. Stark tags herself in as Io hits a shotgun dropkick to Gonzalez, and Stark hits a dropkick of her own, and Raquel rolls out. Stark drives over the ropes onto Gonzalez with a crossbody. Then Kai knocks her down. Io goes to the top rope and hits a moonsault to Gonzalez on the floor. Starks gets Raquel back inside and looks to hit a 450, but nobody's home. And Gonzalez hits a chokeslam. Gonzalez waits until Io gets in the apron again, then lifts Starks and kicks Io off and slams Starks for the win. And that was it. Like I thought it would be. But it was a great match to kick off NXT, though. It really was. Now, the primary highlights of this match were Shirai and Kai going back and forth, and Stark showing off late. Now, this is not a knock against Gonzalez, who got in her own moments throughout, but this was built to give her a win while others stood out in the midst of the action. Now, it was a solid match that certainly did its job, yes. Every week, Stark impresses more. She stands out amongst a loaded division, and she will do well in the spotlight if NXT loses more women to Raw and SmackDown. Now, Gonzalez looks like an unstoppable monster. She continues to impose her will. She continues to impose her will on the division. Her dominance has to be leading to the NXT Women's Championship before long, even if she loses to Shirai at NXT Takeover. Now, after the match, Io comes into the ring and gets in Gonzalez's face. They trash talk until Dakota Kai gets on the apron and Kai knocks her off. Then not Kai, but Gonzalez attacks the champion from behind. Gonzalez takes Io out and hits a chokeslam onto the announce disc. So we see a video from yesterday where Adam Cole infuriated Kyle O'Reilly's jiu-jitsu gym and attacked him. O'Reilly is walking backstage with security and stopped for an interview, but while Strong appears, Strong tells him that after all Cole has done to them, he needs to kick Cole's ass. O'Reilly tells Strong there is no use. Strong gets annoyed and tells O'Reilly he can go to hell. LA Knight is walking towards the ring and he cuts a promo on Bronson Reed. Knight says tonight isn't going to be a pleasant for Reed, and he's going to learn that this is LA Knight's game. So we got a commercial break. Jordan Devlin is sitting backstage, and he says his match tonight is one of the biggest in NXT history. He's a world champion athlete, universally respected, and he's going one-on-one with Kushida. Devlin says he likes Kushida, but tonight he will make an example of him. So we got Bronson Reed versus LA Knight. Now, the bell rings, and they come face to face to talk trash. Now, Reed chops Knight a few times, then whips him to the ropes and hits a back body drop. So then Reed runs into a boot in the corner. Then Knight jumps but gets caught with a power slam. Reed holds Knight down with a submission. Knight tries to fight up but gets chopped again. Reed hits a snapmare and applies a arm submission. Knight fights back and gets thrown to the apron, but he forearms Reed back and hits a flying shoulder to tackle over the ropes. Knight batters Reed with punches, then taunts to the camera. We got a commercial break, and back live. And Knight is holding Reed down with a submission. During the break, Reed tried to throw Knight into the ring post, but LA dropped down and shoved him into the steps. Now, Knight backs Reed into the corner and pummels him with right hands. Reed tries to fight back but gets knocked in the knee. He gets kicked in the knee, and LA follows up with a running knee. Knight chokes Reed on the ropes, and it looks like Bronson's lip was bleeding. I didn't even see that. I didn't even realize his lip was bleeding till I saw it. I didn't realize it. Knight punches Reed around the ring and drops him with a European uppercut. Reed shoves Knight back into the corner and looks to splash him, but Knight avoids it and lands a neckbreaker for a 2 count. Knight runs at him, but gets caught with a knee, then a couple of forearms, and Reed is rolling. Reed hits a body attack and hulks up. Then lands a splash in the corner. Reed looks for a clothesline, but Knight avoids it and looks for a knee, but this time Bronson avoids it and gets the chokeslam. Reed goes up top, but Knight crutches him. Knight jumps back up, but Reed shoves him back off and hits the Tsunami for the win. Now, this was a solid, though occasionally clunky fight between two of the potential biggest rising stars in NXT. Knight dominated the action too much to get to a higher gear by the end. Through the closing, stretch showed the promise of both men in a rematch. Now, it was certainly surprising that Knight lost in the end, but it is not uncommon for new stars to fall before they rise in NXT. Especially after all his bravado, Knight should only be more interesting with a chip on his shoulder. Y'all get what I'm saying here? So, Danny Burch and Arnie Larkin had to vacate the NXT Tag Team Champions because Burch got injured last week. at Takeover, Stand and Deliver, we will see a triple threat match of MSK, Grizzly Young Veterans, and Legado del Fantasma, like I was saying in the review. Like I was saying in the beginning of the review. MSK, Grizzly Young Veterans, and Legado del Fantasma to determine the new tag champs. That triple threat match to determine the new tag champs will be for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, which will be on April 7th and 8th. So there'll be 2 nights of the pay-per-view. And I think that was a great decision by WWE. I think it made sense for them to, book a triple threat match for that title. Given that those 3 teams are almost the only 3 teams in that division. In my opinion, they're the only 3 teams in the division. They need more teams in that division. They really do. Anyways, we got Oney Larkin versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett at ringside. My eyes is burning like a motherfucker. Oh my goodness. I need to go splash some water in my eyes, but I don't want to do that because I'm in the middle of a review. Why would I get up and go put some, water in my eyes when I'm doing a review? I'm not going to just get up and walk away from my review, The review must go on. So, we got Oney Larkin versus Karrion Kross. Who scored at ringside, of course. Now, the match gets underway, and Larkin takes the fight to Kross and beats him into the corner. Kross grabs him by the throat and tosses him into the corner. Then throws him out the ring. Karrion goes after Larkin and throws him into the plexiglass. Kross holds Larkin against the barricade and forearms him. So then he puts him back in the ring. Larkin rolls back out the other side, but Kross goes after him and suplexes him on the floor. Kross gets Larkin back inside before the 10 count. Kross hits shoulder tackles in the corner until the referees break. Larkin fires off a big chop to the chest. Then another, but Karrion tosses him out of the ring. Kross climbs out and Larkin runs him into the ring apron. They get back in and Larkin drop kicks Kross, then hits a few running elbows, but Kross takes him out with a lariat for the 2 count. So we got a commercial break, then we return to find Kross beating Larkin in the corner. Kross applies an armbar, but Larkin gets to his feet to the ropes. Kross pummels Larkin in the corner again and hits an overhead suplex. Larkin starts firing back and sidesteps Kross, so his shoulders the ring post. Larkin attacks the shoulder and slams him out. He slams him on it. Larkin chops Kross down and hits a cross block, a chop block. Excuse me. I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit, so keep up with me. Then running European cuts. Kross catches him with a big boot, followed by a Saito suplex. Kross connects with the forearm to the back of the head for the win. That was it. So, now, I am going to say that this was the best Kross has looked against anyone to date. Meanwhile, Larkin was allowed to work hard he was allowed to work hard in the match. He was obviously going to lose. And ultimately, he got the Herald of Doomsday working the type of match he is best at. A pure physical brawl. Best wish to Birch on his recovery. For Larkin, he deserves a chance to rebound quickly. It will be a shame for a talent of his caliber to get lost in the shuffle. Now, he is unique brawler with the energy to elevate other talent to the next level. Kross and Balor are slowly building their rivalry. As long as they do not go over the top, the story will ultimately be told in the ring at Takeover. The two have the talent to do something special together. Now, Kross gets on the mic after the match. He addresses Finn Balor and says last week he intended to hurt Scarlett. And he respects that. He was giving respect to Balor, but he didn't deserve it. Even though Balor is the champion, when he held his little neck, in his hand, it felt like everybody else's. Kross says that when the fuse is lit, there's no stopping what comes next. There's no escape. You can't escape fate. That's what he's trying to say. So Finn Balor's music hits, and the Prince walks out to the stage. Balor says that last week, Kross took his best shot, and he's still standing. And in doing so, he showed Balor his weakness, Scarlett. Balor says, when a man is young, he fights with uncontrollable emotion. Some would call them demons. It wasn't until he learned to control his emotions and become untouchable. Balor says Kross still fights with emotion. His reactionary and his sloppy, vulnerable. Balor says he will push him to the point where he either surprises everyone and masters his emotions, or his emotions overcome him. And when they do, Balor will drag him into the deep water and with no emotion, drown him. Ryan Ringo announces that next week we will get a 12-man battle royal match, and the last 6 men in that match will have a gauntlet to determine the number 1 contender to Johnny Gargano's North American Championship. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think of that. What is y'all's reaction? What are y'all comments on that? Let me know in the chat, or let me know in the comments below. You got a commercial break, and Kushida cuts a promo in Japanese to say he is the best technical wrestler in NXT, and he will prove it against Jordan Devlin. That's the second time. That's the second wrestler that's done said that. Pete Dunne said that, and Daniel Bryan responded to it. And now Kushida's saying it. Wonder who's going to respond to Kushida on that, on social media. We got Walter versus Drake Maverick. This match did not last long. This was basically a 2-second squash match. So this is very easy to read here. Now, the bell rings and Maverick jumps at Walter, but gets body slammed hard. Walter lifts and powerbombs Maverick, then applies a single leg Boston Crab, but Maverick is already out. And Walter wins. A few weeks ago that Walter intrigued him. He misspoke, and what he meant was that the United Kingdom Championship intrigues him, so to speak. Doesn't it make you wonder why the NXT UK Championship intrigues him, folks? Doesn't it? Does it? Yes? No? Anyways, nobody's going to answer that, because there's only one person watching. Anyways, Champa says everyone knows what he wants. So how about a little title match at Stand and Deliver? He questioned that. That was a question. So Walter shakes his head and tells Imperium they're leaving. Champa hits Walter, but quickly gets beaten down by Raquel and Heiner. Walter rips the necklace off of Champa and stomps on it. Heiner and Raquel hold Champa, and Walter gives him a devastating chop. Walter then puts his knee on Ciampa's neck and tells him he'll see him at Takeover. So then we got Pete Dunne cutting a promo on the video and says he told everyone, that he's the best at to go wrestle, and nobody challenged him. So he'll prove it next week in the Battle Royal in the Gauntlet match, then become the new North American champion. So we got Robert Stone backstage with Aliyah, and he's begging Mercedes Martinez to join them because Jessica Camilla got injured. Stone hands Mercedes an envelope, and she tells him it's only half. She expects the other half after the match. Stone agrees, and Martinez will team with Aliyah to take on Shotzi and Ember Moon after a commercial break. So Johnny Gargano walks into William Regal's office backstage. Reason why I'm taking my time reading, because I know I got this, because I know I'm doing good on this review right now. So he berates him for booking the Battle Royal. Johnny Gargano does. And the Gauntlet match, Johnny says he needs more time to prepare for his opponent. He needs to watch tape. He needs to watch the tape. So Regal says if he's really Johnny Takeover, it shouldn't be a problem. Gargano storms out and doesn't close the door behind him. So we got Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Aliyah and Mercedes Martinez with Robert Stone at ringside. I could have sworn I've seen this tag match before. Haven't we all seen this tag match before between the team of Ember Moon / Blackheart and the Robert Stone brand? I don't know, this match looks so familiar, like we've seen it twice already. I mean, it's not that I'm complaining, it's the fact that I'm telling the truth here. But anyways, they start proceedings with Moon and Mercedes, and Ember quickly catches her with a tilt-a-whirl, then tags Shotzi, and they team to hit a double team. Blackheart goes up top and dives into Martinez with a seated senton. So then, Robert Stone gets up on the apron and distracts her, allowing Mercedes Martinez to land a big boot. Aliyah tags in, and Mercedes hits a gut buster. Then Aliyah follows up with a running kick. Aliyah keeps Blackheart grounded and kicks Moon off the apron. Shotzi gets the better of Aliyah and tags Moon, who comes in hot with running forearms and a power bomb for a 2 count. Mercedes Martinez comes in against Blackheart and lifts her up, but Shotzi counters and sends her out of the ring. Moon then hits Aliyah with the Eclipse for the win. And that was it. So, my analyst thoughts on this match, honestly. It was good to see, that NXT instantly doing more with the women's tag team champions than Raw or SmackDown have. But this was not at all that exciting of a match. It really wasn't. It just wasn't. Now, Martinez is fantastic, but she barely got going before the champions took out the weak link. Now, this was a long-term positive, but a short-term skip. Moon and Blackheart need legitimate competition again soon. Gonzalez and Kai were taken out of the running so quickly that the Black and Gold brand will need to build fresh competition in a goddamn hurry. Alright, so check this out. We got Cameron Grimes approaching Roderick Strong backstage. Says he's taking this as badly as he is. The Undisputed Era has done so much for the business, but it doesn't have to end. Grimes offers to buy the rights to the Undisputed Era and sell tons of merch, but Strong punches him and walks out. During commercial break, so right from the commercial break, Shotzi, Blackheart, and Ember Moon are interviewed backstage, and they say they're feeling great. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell appears and sarcastically congratulates them. They say they want a match or their time and their stage, and the champions are eagerly awaiting. So we have Jordan Devlin versus Kushida. Now, you know we haven't seen Jordan Devlin for quite some time. It's fine. We're finally get to see Jordan Devlin in the ring. It's great to see him back. You know, I was gonna say great to see him back in NXT UK, but it's actually great to see him back. Period. It's great to see him on NXT though. I mean, you know, he's been on NXT before. But anyhow, the bell rings, they lock up, and Kushida sweeps Devlin off his feet and looks for an angle lock. Devlin breaks free, and they lock up again, and this time Devlin hits a Uranagi and a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Jordan hits a back elbow, but Kushida knocks him off his feet and applies a wrist lock. Kushida targets the arm, but Devlin hits a jawbreaker, then runs at him but gets thrown onto the apron. So then Kushida jumps at Devlin, but nobody's home, and he falls to the floor. Devlin hits a springboard moonsault to Kushida, and then we got a commercial break. Back live from commercial break, Devlin has Kushida down with a rear chin lock. He's in control as they return. Kushida rallies and lands some big kicks and continues to assault the arm. Kushida leaps onto Devlin looking for the hoverboard lock, but Jordan grabs the ropes. Kushida lets go but kicks the arm again. Kushida jumps at him for it again, but Devlin presses him down into a pin for a near fall. Devlin rolls to the apron, punches Kushida back, and hits a float over cutter for a near fall. Kushida goes to the top rope, and Devlin climbs up with him, but Santos Escobar and his goons come to the stage and distracts Devlin, allowing Kushida to knock him off. Kushida applies the cross arm bar, but Devlin reaches the ropes. Wild and Mendoza pull Devlin from the ring. Then he rolls under them and gets inside. Kushida jumps at Devlin, but the Irishman sidesteps him and Kushida hits Mendoza and Wild on the apron. Then Devlin rolls up Kushida for the win. And that was it. So, after the match, Kushida leaps over the ropes onto Wild and Mendoza, then tosses them off the stage into each other. Kushida leaps off the stage onto them both. Santos Escobar avoids it all and walks down to the ring to stand across from Jordan Devlin. Shawn Michaels' music hits, and the Hall of Famer walks down the ramp. Shawn Michaels stares at Devlin, and Escobar then lifts a ladder from under the ring and slides it in between the two of them. Escobar and Devlin hold their titles up. So we see Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly walking backstage towards the ring with security flanking them both. As Cole is walking, he stops. Shawn Michaels walks past smiling. So we got a commercial break. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are sitting by a table on the stage surrounded by officials, and Warren Ring was in the middle. Now I'm wondering why Shawn Michaels smiled. I didn't understand that part. Why did he smile? For what? What did he smile for? So Ringo berates them for their actions and says he will not allow them to tear down what he and so many others have built. He has a solution, a contract for the match that takes place on night 2 of the NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Ringo says NXT cannot take responsibility for that match. Adam Cole opens the contract and says recently he had a revelation and epiphany. He realized he didn't need the Undisputed Era. They were holding him back, and it was O'Reilly who held him back. Now, he bought into the BS that Undisputed Era was about brotherhood, but it wasn't. He sat on the sidelines and watched O'Reilly fight and failed to win the NXT Championship, and he tried to be friendly as a lapdog, happy on the sidelines, but that's not who he is. So Cole says he's the greatest NXT champion in history. He is. I believe that. He's been one of my favorite NXT male talents since he won that championship. He may be one of my only favorite male talents on the roster. But he says he's the greatest NXT champion in history, and he's nothing like O'Reilly. Undisputed Era was never about brotherhood. It was about being the best, and that's him. Cole asked O'Reilly if he'd even be in WWE if not for him. He's the main eventer, the one who stood the shirts. He the one who sold the shirts in the sludges. He the one who sold the shirts in the slogans. The group wouldn't exist without him. He can't wait to fight O'Reilly because he and everyone else already knows who wins. Cole signs the contract and slides it over. O'Reilly says he thought he knew Cole. They don't care who they stepped on to succeed. They shocked the system and made a statement. They will forever have heat with Ringo in the locker room because of how they act. But he grew up and took accountable. He looks men in the eyes before he knocks their teeth in. No more 4-on-1 attacks. And since coming to NXT, they've all become better wrestlers, champions, and they became stars. But only one of them became a better human. Him, O'Reilly says Cole is the same asshole who walked in the door 3 years ago, yet he finds it hard to believe the last 3 years meant nothing. O'Reilly says he hoped they could put it behind them and go for a beer someday. But now he knows he has to end him. He sold his soul for them, but now he needs to bury Undisputed Era to get it back. And not a single person will be surprised when he beats him to a pulp and sleeps like a baby for the first time in years. Kyle signs the contract and Cole tosses the table aside. They come face to face, but the security keeps them apart as the show comes to a close. And that was it. That was it for that week. So, anyways, this was a great ending to NXT, building hype for Takeover. Cole cut one of the best promos of his career, tearing down O'Reilly with venom. Now, finally, it was fully clear why he had turned against Undisputed Era. O'Reilly could not keep up, but he certainly cut his best promo to date. This match will be the end of an era for NXT, a lightning of the moment combined with both men's best work possible on the mic sold that fact. This has been a long time coming. Now I only hope that it can live up to the legacy that it is behind it. Now, my full thoughts on this week's episode of NXT. This was a very great episode. A lot of stuff set up for Takeover. Stand and deliver. It's all going to be great. Hopefully. Let's hope it does. I mean, NXT technically always produces the best NXT and the best NXT Takeover pay-per-views every week of all time. Well, not every week, but you know what I mean. In other words, what I'm trying to say is NXT always produces the best shows, the best episodes of NXT every week, and they always produce the best pay-per-view takeovers ever. This might go down as another one of the greatest takeover pay-per-views of all time. Possibly. It reminds you of Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker in the Unsanctioned match. That's what that reminds you of. Now, a lot of stuff set up for a Takeover Stand Deliver, and it's all going to be great. Of course, we're getting a big setup to a North American Championship match with a star-studded Battle Royal. That then leads to an equally star-studded Gauntlet Eliminator at Takeover, of course. Then the title match on Night 2. Of course, we all know that. Now, with Theory and Loomis in the Battle Royal, Loomis and Theory make it to the Eliminator. They might be the last two. So that it'll come down to Loomis breaking through to Theory so that Theory joins him against Gargano. But there are also a lot of other rivalries in the Battle Royal. So the Eliminator will get them all out on Takeover at the same time. Knight versus Reed, of course, was a good match. But the bigger shock was that Reed won. Knight gets his first loss out of the way, but I bet he gets revenge on Reed in the Battle Royal by eliminating him. Similarly, Grimes tries to buy the rights for the Undisputed Era IP, and Angering Strong will be hashed out in the Battle Royal. So, and I'm surprised Dunn didn't pick up on Kushida calling himself the best technical wrestler. But that can be part of the Battle Royal and beyond with so little on Night 2 right now. Hopefully, Kushida versus Dunn is a grudge match opener to it. Mercedes being a mercenary is a good way of, reintroducing herself. But of course, Shotzi and Ember Moon won the tag title match. Shotzi and Ember Moon versus The Way is finally happening for Night 2. And as well, and could go either way. Now, the opening women's tag was really good. But Gonzalez wins it for her team to get herself great momentum going towards the title match. That match could go either way, but it'd be quite the moment for Gonzalez winning the title in the main event of night 1 on USA Network. Oney versus Kross was pretty good because Oney still got to do some damage, but of course Kross wins to Headstrong for Takeover. Kross and Balor had good promos, and Balor saying the word Demon probably isn't a tease about bringing Demon Balor back, but more saying without saying it that he doesn't need Demon Balor anymore. But still, Skeleton Pirate Demon Balor would be pretty awesome. And while it sucks for Birch to get hurt legitimately and then lose the titles, he and Arnie waited so long to have. I like that we're getting a big match for crowning new champions. MSK versus Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma. It's going to be a strong match. And really bringing the next NXT Tag Team division back to where it was just a couple years ago. At this point, it's basically just Legado taking the pin so that we can later get MSK versus Grizzled Young Veterans properly. Walter versus Maverick went even more squashed than expected, but that made it even better. I bet Thatcher and Dane being absent along with Wolf is a sign that they're being converted to Imperium. Champa going after Walter and then getting his title match for Takeover is all great stuff, and that match is going to be about as close to Walter versus Dragunov as NXT USA can give us. But between Walter versus Rampage Brown and NXT UK Prelude, and then Walter versus Champa on Takeover, Walter is going to look like the strongest champion ever. He basically is. That reign is hitting the 2-year mark and going beyond until perhaps Ilja Dragunov rises back up. Devlin versus Kushida was great stuff, even with Legado interfering. Kushida taking out Wilder Mendoza was awesome, and hopefully Kushida circles back to the Cruiserweight title chase. Now HBK is suggesting the latter stipulation was great too. That makes Escobar versus Devlin way better than before. But it probably doesn't help Escobar win because Legado can interfere without it being a disqualification. I get that there are presumably more fans that watch NXT USA than NXT UK, but Devlin is a better champion than Escobar. So if Devlin can be back in the States, he should be allowed to have the belt and represent the division in both the USA and UK. Both the USA and UK. And Escobar can do something else. And then the stipulation for Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly was of course going to be unsanctioned. Similar to Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. But I was hoping they add Loser Leaves NXT to it. Their promos for this signing were great stuff. That match is going to be amazing. Feel like it has to go to Kyle so that he can move past Cole and the Arrow to be contender again. So that is gonna do it for your review. Now let's move on to some of the NXT news. Let's move on to that. Now, I need to check and see if the viewership has came in for NXT and AEW yet. I need to check on that to see. So let's check on that real quick. for NXT and AEW has not came in yet. I wonder what's taking it so long for the NXT and AEW viewership to come in. What's taking so long for the NXT AEW viewership to come in? I wonder. What is taking these people so long to release the viewership for AEW and NXT? I wonder. I gotta question that for a minute. What the hell's going on here? Why hasn't the viewership came in? I'm looking on Twitter now and I don't see no tweets about the AEW nor NXT viewership at all. I was going to give out that news. That's the only news I had. Oh. Well, I see a tweet from Brian Alvarez on the viewership for AEW and NXT. So AEW averaged 757,000 and NXT averaged 678,000. So, once again, AEW has defeated NXT. NXT has yet took another loss in the viewership. Man, that's fucking sad, dude. That is really, really sad. That is embarrassing, dude. That is embarrassing at its finest. NXT needs to be done with it and move it to Thursdays. NXT needs to NXT just need to leave the Wednesday Night Wars alone. All these fucking virgin geeks that's asking for the Wednesday Night Wars to continue needs to leave the Wednesday Night Wars alone and let NXT move to Thursdays. This shit is fucking ridiculous. Come on, man. Leave the fucking Wednesday Night War bullshit alone, man. We're getting tired of it. It's getting boring. It's getting so boring that our brains might blow up. Our fucking heads might fucking explode. Jeez Louise. Oh, man. And there's some news on Keith Lee actually trying to get cleared for WWE return. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get that news out real quick since it's right in front of me on my screen. On my other screen, not this screen, the other one. On my tablet here. So it says here that Keith Lee disappeared from WWE television before Elimination Chamber and he hasn't been back. Well, it's simple. Vince has no interest in Keith Lee anymore. Oh, why, Vince? Why? Because he's fat? Is that why? Because to you, you think he's a fat slug? You think he's a fat slug? Is that why? Man, this man is more meaner and more disrespectful and more picky than I thought, dude. There are several questions regarding his current situation, though. I'm talking about Keith Lee. Now, Lee addressed his absence, but he couldn't say much. He only promised that all will be revealed in time. My sources, my good old friends on Twitter, Ringside News, did exclusively report that he's not showing up to the Thunderdome, and there are currently no creative plans for him. Jesus Christ. Oh, no wonder! Vince has no interest in him. There you go. That's the answer right there. That's the answer we all need to hear. We need to know. It was previously reported that WWE mixed the idea of a United States title run for Lee. It will be back, but it might take a bit more time. Which I think it's a bunch of fucking BS because he should have been built up and should have been champion a long time ago. But no, Vince and Bruce didn't want that though. Now did they? Nope. Absolutely not. They didn't. According to Fightful Select, Keith Lee is currently working on his return to the ring, but he needs to be cleared first. Now it's unclear what is really keeping Keith Lee out of action. But we all in the community, I'm sure, can only hope that he can get things cleared up soon because WWE could use him on the red brand. I was thinking they were gonna say the blue brand, because the blue brand could use some more men talent right about now. There's not too many on that roster. Now, that is all the news I'm going to. Well, actually, yeah, that's all the news I'm going to give out. That's all the news I have for right now. So, I'm going to get the heck out of here, man. That's going to be it for the March the 24th, 2021 review. And that's all the news I have. If you have any questions, comment the question down in the section below. And if you enjoyed this review, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. I can't even talk right, obviously, because I feel kind of dizzy. I feel kind of dazed out. I don't know why. I shouldn't be feeling this way, but like I said, hit the like button if you enjoyed this stream. If you enjoyed this NXT review. It helps the live stream, the videos, it helps out the channel and it helps me out. And thank you all again for supporting me and my channel. Keep on supporting me and my channel. Continue to do so. And that's all I got to say. Now, with all that being said, I think I'm going to be doing my NXT UK review. I'm not sure yet, but I will give you an update on that on Twitter. So I will let y'all know if I'll be doing my NXT UK review on Twitter. I'll let y'all know if I'll be doing my NXT UK review or not. I will be on Twitter. I will keep you up to date on that. I will let you know. If you want to see it, if you want to listen to it. But anyways, folks, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. Thank you for joining me for the NXT review. Peace. Have a good day. And I will see you all on my Friday night SmackDown review this Friday night. And I will see you on my, before that, I'll see you on my WWE SmackDown live stream as well. Peace. I'm getting out of here.